Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another brown dust video. Guess what? Maintenance over. Finally we have the new mercenaries Taylor and Ayan. We're gonna check them out. Let's have a look. Notice issues after the inactive removal of tournament mode. If there are less than 128 eligible users for the tournament, clicking on the empty slot on the tournament menu will crash the game. Interesting. This issue will be fixed during the next update. I guess that's only for server with less players, I assume. It doesn't happen on my server. Typo was found on the member new mercenary Ayan's awakened title Jaeger member. Alright, so this issue will be fixed. Cool. Alright, so for those of you who did the Destiny Child collaboration correctly, we got the Hell's costume Equinoctial Berry Hell. Alright, so bunch of interesting cool gifts. Look at this, premium scrolls, then legend scrolls, a bunch of new free gifts. Definitely very grateful that I've done mine. So let me know if you guys obtain your rewards as well, and if you guys did not and you have done it correctly, yeah, let me know as well, because I'm curious how many of you guys, maybe you thought you linked your account but actually you did not. Maybe you make a mistake and you thought you could fix it but it's too late, something along those lines. So yeah, just gonna claim all of these. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the mercenaries. We're gonna check out Taylor and then move on to Ayan. So Taylor is a 5-star warrior. In case you guys are not familiar, she has this incredible, this range, man, this X tile range, very strong. And ideally, if you want to benefit from all of this range, it's best to place her in the middle row. Alright, so similar to Yuri, a lot of people compare her to Gunter or Yuri because they have similar attacking range, but of course Gunter is a skip, whereas she's more similar to Yuri in terms of she hits the most frontal. So at +0, let's have a look at +0. She has the ability to freeze the enemies, you know, those who are not immune to debuff immunity, and those that are not immune to attack interference, they will get frozen. Alright, so 12 turns, that is it's a pretty substantial amount of turns. Alright, so you might not be able to move on your first round of battle. So 150% ultimate strike. Wow, that is pretty good actually. 150%. I wasn't expecting her ultimate strike to be this high of the modifier. Like at level 0, she might be more usable than I initially thought. Like I thought she would need at least +3, +4, something along those lines. But apparently at +0, she might be better than Gunter. We'll compare them later on. Alright, so we have this lasting crit damage boost. You don't really unlock this until level 3. Alright, skill level 3, you need at least +3. Alright, crit damage +20%, and every single turn afterwards you get the crit damage +1%. Now take note that her stats enhancement only lasts for 25 turns. So 25 turns, that means that after 25 turns, all of the accumulated crit damage that she gets, which is how much is that? Around 55%, 54 to 55%, all of those crit damage will just disappear. So do not go into battle having the mindset that that thing will stay. You know, once the 25 turn ends, everything, all the stats enhancement, it just disappears. So that's how it works. Ideally, for those of you who are new out there, you might not notice that. Okay, and then of course we have this stats weakening immunity, which is permanent. Awesome. So this is a very good skill to have. Usually a very good pair with stats enhancement skill, so that they cannot be stats weakened. Alright, so do keep in mind that she can be charmed and she can be frozen. So if a Taylor were to encounter another enemy's Taylor, it's gonna depend on who moves first. If your Taylor moves first, you will be able to freeze the enemy's Taylor. So that is something that you can always take advantage of. Alright, so +1, you get 18 turns. So that increased by 6 turns. And +2, freeze of 24 turns. Now this will not be a big deal in the high tier PvP because most of the units have debuff immunity anyways. I do think that her potential, her capability will come from her trying to one-shot opponents in general. Alright, so obviously you unlock this particular skill at +3. So plus 4 this increase to 175, and plus 5 is 200%. Plus 6 you get the attack boost. So ideally from what I'm looking at, I think plus 6 is like the boundary on when she's decent and she gets really good. Like if you have her at plus 6, I think she can really do some significant damage, because 200% ultimate strike paired with this pretty decent amount of crit damage and attack percent increase, this is going to be pretty good, pretty deadly in the arena. So obviously at plus 7 you get more, it seems like more crit damage by 15%. Same goes for plus 8, that's even more. And then plus 9, 250% along with some healing. Now ideally with healing that comes into mind, I don't think she will be able to benefit much from it. If she dies, she dies. She's a warrior, and most warriors ideally they are pretty squishy, so I don't think you could benefit much from that healing. But a 50% extra in the advanced ultimate strike though, that's gonna help you in dealing more damage for sure. So plus 10, you get additional 10% of the attack, and plus 11 even more. Alright, so from this point onwards, I think from plus 11 onwards you might not get as much in your return. This is where the value started to diminish a little bit. So plus 12, you get some incoming damage minus 35%, but I don't think that's gonna help you. If she gets hit by Anastasia, she gets hit by Wilhelmina, she's gonna die. So there's no way she's gonna be able to survive anything out there with her low HP, unless you plan to build a tank build or something. I don't think why you will want to go for that. Alright, and then goes up 300%, 350%. That is pretty high. That is extremely high. Holy moly. She's the new PvE queen if you can get her up to this point. Like for sure, she's gonna sweep the PvE. The PvE is pretty easy. All the stages have been nerfed, so I don't think you will actually benefit from this insane amount of attack. But in PvP though, unless you fight, you know, like teams that are ideally using 3-row formation, if you're fighting enemies with only 2-row formations, like they leave the middle row blank, you won't be able to benefit much from her range, which is unfortunate. But I still think that this is a pretty substantial. Oh, co-op rate. She's gonna shine a lot in co-op rate. I know a lot of people use Arch, and if you have Taylor, she's gonna be able to dish out way more damage than her. Alright, plus 15, this is where you get the ultimate increase in terms of your stats. So 50 turns as opposed to 25 turns. So that will be more significant than you think. So if you guys are familiar with Novice Arena, like in Novice Arena I prefer Rai over Richnet because of the same amount of reason, right? 50 turns on Rai. Richnet has stats enhancement that only lasts up to 35 turns if I'm not mistaken. And usually my Novice battle usually lasts pretty long, especially with Carlson around. It can take up forever, and once the 35 turn ends, Richnet's damage will dip down and she will basically deal nothing, especially when there's Rene just stalling away. It gets really annoying. So this 50 turns stat enhancement, this makes much more of a bigger deal than most of you guys think. So definitely if you are using her, plus 15, man, plus 15 is the way to go. But if you don't want to go all the way to plus 15, I think at plus 10 to plus 11 she's pretty good by default. Okay, let's just have a quick comparison in terms of stats. 901 attack, 25% crit rate, 50% crit damage. Alright, if we were to compare with Gunter for example, Gunter has 522 attack, that's almost half. Alright, 10% crit rate, okay, so she has 25% crit rate. So with the higher amount of crit rate, that means that depending on who you plan to use her with, if you have Stella, you might be able to go with 1 Assault and 1 Rage runes. But if you do not have Stella, you don't have any good supporters that give a bunch of crit rate, ideally you want to go for 1 Fatal and 1 Rage. I think 1 Fatal and 1 Rage, that will increase her crit rate to about 78%, around there, because her crit rate is similar with Angelica's one. And holy moly, the attack is way higher than Gunter's one. You know what, if you have her at plus 0, she's gonna be way more usable than a Gunter in PvE. And I feel like she's the new reigning champion in terms of like, you know, just conquering the PvE right now. So HP wise, 1900. Gunter has 3200. Alright, Gunter is like slightly tankier, but that's about it. In terms of damage, Taylor wins like by default. She has better crit rate, better attack, better skills. She has companion right now, plus 15. So yeah, in terms of usability, I do think that Michaela, Stella, Serendia, those are good pair with her. But runes, I would highly recommend you guys do not follow any other players one. Like, try and look at your own supporters. If you think that you can achieve 100% crit rate without giving her fatal runes, I would ideally recommend, like, it's quite hard to recommend just 2 rage runes because it's kind of risky if your supporter dies. But I would rather go for something like a 1 assault and 1 rage. But if you lack supporters like Stella or Serendia that gives a bunch of crit rate, maybe fatal and rage would be the ideal one. And that way you will have much higher crit rate. You might be able to crit even without the supporter, even if your supporter dies. So yeah, that's the way to go. But for Stella users out there, definitely 1 assault and 1 rage for sure. She's going to be insane. I doubt she will suffer in terms of the ability to one-hit KO strong tanks. I'm not sure if she will be able to one-shot a Cecilia though. That would be interesting to find out because plus 15 Cecilia is pretty tanky. Like, I'm not sure if what's the interaction right there. But of course, everyone else, I don't think they will be able to survive like a fully buffed Taylor at plus 10 and above. Okay, so with that being said, moving on to the next one. Defender, we have Ayan. Ayan, where is she? Here she is. Okay, so what is she all about? Looking at her stats, pretty good. 200 attack, 2.9k HP. She's a defender, but she has no defense. 0% defense. What is up with that? Let's have a look at her skills. What is she all about? Apply stigma. Okay, is she a front or a skip? She is a skip, similar to Anastasia. Very interesting. Alright, so far she has stigma. So minus edgy, deals additional damage if the stigma expires or is removed. Interesting. That is a lot of HP. That is a lot of damage right there. Max HP times 35% additional damage. She's gonna be really good against the world boss. Alright, so boost defense when the stigmatized target dies. This is not gonna be useful when versus world boss because world boss they don't die, so you won't benefit from that. Same goes for this skill. When enemy dies, you get healing, but in world boss case scenario, that will not happen at all. So she has the second skill which stuns 12 turns and deals DOT. So she has attack interference, she has DOT. Not sure if she will shine in Novice. I doubt so, because while her kit is really awesome, she has stun, she has DOT. I'm not sure if she's gonna be useful in Novice. I mean, it's a pretty good range, but I don't see anyone would like sacrifice one of their 4-star, like something like a Hell or Cry for an Ayan. Like, it doesn't make sense. And of course we have this enhancement reset. Activates lasting enhancement, okay, when receive normal attack. Resets duration of time of already applied buff. So plus 1, 35% stigma, 35% minus edgy, plus 2, 45%, plus 3, 45% again, but this time, let me guess. Okay, so apparently plus 3 you just get more turns of stigma, 24 turns as opposed to 12 turns. Alright, so that's the difference. Plus 4, 60% minus edgy, 75% minus edgy. So plus 6 onwards, this is where you get some interesting burn increase. Boost incoming damage plus 10%. Alright, this is gonna be useful against World Boss Ogdoad based on what I'm seeing right here, because Ogdoad is not immune to DOT. Ideally, you want to deal damage to Ogdoad through decomposition damage, which is why Diomaron shines a lot whenever you fight World Boss Ogdoad. And then plus 9, you get incoming damage as well on the stun. Alright, so that's not going to be useful against Ogdoad since he is attack interference immune. Okay, so plus 10, 75%, and more max HP. That enemy's max HP times percentage of additional damage, that is gonna deal a lot, especially if you can crit. So ideally, I would say give her Fatal and Rage and see if she will be able to crit. That is an insane amount of damage right there. Alright, so from plus 10 to 11, I'm guessing more healing. 80%, alright, so now you get 80% defense increase if the enemy dies at plus 12. So plus 13 and plus 14, more incoming damage. So this is where you will see this damage boost really shines. It's going to be useful whenever you fight World Boss Ogdoad. I'm definitely going to build her just for the World Boss purposes. In fact, I'm not sure if I want to spend a bunch of diamonds trying to recruit her though, so that's the problem. Taylor seems like really tempting. I don't know, I will need a few days to decide. I usually take my own sweet time with that. And 75%, 70%. So what do you get at the end? Oh, so you get 10 turns of stats enhancement as opposed to 5 turns. So at plus 15, I feel like that's more of a PvP thing, but if you are just building for World Boss specific reasons, up to plus 14 seems to be the ideal skill level that you need. You don't really need all the way to plus 15, but if you want to use her in PvP, then plus 15 you can benefit from that additional 5 turns of defense increased by 80%. And if you are using her specifically for PvP, ideally you want to go for shield runes. One shield rune is more than enough just to get her up to 100% defense, you know. So is she going to be good in Novice though? I don't think so. I doubt many players will use her because she is more situational, but World Boss, definitely that's where I can see her shine. And interesting awakening art. And yeah, she does have a pair with this Feral and Kellen as well. So that means she will be able to give them 25% attack boost. That's going to help a lot for sure, especially both on Kellen and Feral. They will be able to deal an insane amount of damage to Ogdoad. So definitely will be interesting to check that out. Okay, so let's have a look at the pool package. Apparently, if you guys are not aware, they apparently increased the time for all these mercenaries up to 27 days, which is almost a month, 30 days I would say. So the update scale, it has changed a little bit, so we only get new mercenaries once a month as opposed to every 2 weeks like before. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We are still getting, of course, events and things like that, but ideally if you want to plan something, you need to plan accordingly based on a 1 month basis. So based on what I'm seeing, after 1 month we might get the Dalvi update, and then 1 month later there's one more update. So we might not get the plus 15 6 Devil until like end of the year, like December or maybe January next year. So that's my prediction so far. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys enjoying this 1 month update? I guess it's kind of good. It allows us, give us space and time to actually try to build up our characters better. So yeah, definitely I'm going to make a separate video on that. So if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.